Wow, guys. I can't believe I'm actually sewing. It's been such a long time. Hi, everybody. Thank you for waiting so patiently. Hello, hello. My name is Sunny, and tonight we are going to be sewing. Ooh. Just test out some of my stitches. I think the tension's a little too high. Just that. There we go. Let me make sure audio is okay on this side. All right. Is that okay? I think it's okay. Hi, Sunny. We hear you. Thank you, Chi. Oh, thank you, Miss Fez. Hi, Chi. I'm gonna turn up the background music just a smidge, just because I think it's really pretty. Hello, Kyle. Hi, Sunny. Who else is here? Hi, Snooey. Hi, Salty. All right. Oh, thank you for the hearts. I love the hearts. I feel like the hearts should not go unnoticed. Alrighty. So, yeah. And you guys can see I have my sewing machine here. Ha ha ha. It's called a Singer. It's a heavy-duty machine. Really, on a day-to-day basis, you don't need a heavy-duty machine, but it was gifted to me and it was one that was on sale, so this is the one that I have. The only thing I'd say about it is that it makes a lot of noise because it's meant to be heavy-duty, right? So then when the needle hits the machine, it makes a very loud thudding sound, and it's not very discreet. But other than that, it's a great machine. I never feel like it's gonna break or it's gonna, like, not work or anything. Yeah. Okay, let me grab, trying to figure out where to start. Okay, first things first, I painted my nails. I'm pretty sure I haven't painted my nails in a year. Like, I think it's been that long. Just because what always happens is that, I mean, so I paint on multiple layers and I do a top coat because I want it to stay. But then you're not supposed to have nail polish on for more than 2 weeks, and I never take it off because it's too much work to take it off. So then it ends up being on there for like a month, and then I'm like, oh, I can't have nail polish on my nails anymore because my nails aren't healthy right now. And then I don't wear nail polish for like another like 2 months. So it's just this terrible cycle. I think what'll help is if I set a time on my calendar to take off my nail polish, because if I don't set that time, then I won't remember to and I won't do it. But I also have like blue sleeves. I think blue looks really good on me, blue and black, but that's just me. The camera is also very yellow orange, and that's just because the light that I have on my desk is very yellow. You can see it contrasts very much with this LED light that is also really bright. I don't know how to mess with the camera settings enough to be able to change this so that you can see what's going on in here. If anything, you'll just hear it. I had said that my sewing machine is not picking up on my mic, but it does. I just wasn't speaking. So it picks up when I'm speaking, but it's very light in the background, which is very good because otherwise you'd hear like a da-da-da-da-da-da-da sort of sound. So I prepped all the pieces that needed to be prepped, I think. Let's go over the pattern because this is what we're going to be using as our example. These pieces of tissue paper, I had attached them onto the fabric, and then I cut out the pieces using this template, and then I pulled it off, and then before I pulled off the tissue entirely, I had to transfer these little markings here. And so you have 2 little circles, you have this little like divot in here. So those will help us align the fabric so that it's in the right place to be sewn. And so you'll see, actually, I don't know how well it's going to show up on the fabric, but you'll see those maybe. And because it's really important that you know which pieces are supposed to line in which place so that it comes out looking very even. So we're going to set these aside because we don't need these anymore. These did their job. These are all the specifications for the skirt, how much fabric you're going to need. So as we look, my skirt is CD here. In order to size, what did they do this? Body measurements, bust, waist, hip, and back, neck to waist. I do not remember which measurement I used for this. Well, so you choose your measurement, what you want to base it off of here. And then you trace it down here, and then it tells you, okay, if your fabric is 45 inches across, then you'll need 2 yards and 3/8 in order to make this skirt. Or if your fabric is 60 inches, then you'll need 1 yard and 5/8. This just tells you, shoot, I don't really remember if this is like length or if this is width. But when you have a bolt of fabric, it is X amount of inches wide. So let's say, what happened? Oh, okay, there we go. Oops. Hi, Vane. Hey, Phil, how you doing? A stream where I'm lost already. Let's go. You got this. You got this. So let's say this is a bolt of fabric. A bolt of fabric is where the fabric is coming from, right? It's just a singular color or line of fabric, and in order to store it, they wrap it around a piece of cardboard, and then that's called a bolt. So let's say we have a bolt of fabric. The length, oh, actually, this would be a better representation. So this is a set length. That's because when the machine is actually putting together the fabric, the machine is only this wide. So then when it's creating the fabric, it comes down like this, and it's only this length. I think that's what that number means. So whether it's 45 inches across or 60 inches across, that'll determine how much fabric you'll need. Anyways, that's not really, it's not really related to what we're doing today, but I just thought I'd explain it because I see it was right in front of me and I got distracted. Doing good, not staying for long though. I hope you have a good evening after you leave stream tonight, but while you're in stream, I hope you enjoy. So let's have a nice chill time while we try to figure this out. Okay, so these are our instructions. We are starting off with number 1. Specifically with skirts C and D. So this right here, the instructions, woo! You see where it says skirt A and B and it starts at 1? That's where this set of instructions is for that type of skirt that you can make using this pattern. We are not doing that today, so we're gonna take this off. We're gonna put this away. Before we do that, here, this is the type of skirt we're making. Either C here or C and D. I actually decided to make it A or B instead because I like how long the skirt is. I think with the type of fabric that I chose, it's a very light, flowy type of fabric. I thought it would look better with a longer skirt. So I didn't cut it to the length of CD as it was supposed to be. I kept it at AB, and I wanted to make sure that it wasn't gonna mess anything up. So I checked the measurements here of the waist part to make sure that it doesn't have to be wider to accommodate like a heavier fabric, and I think we're fine. I think if I make that change, then it's not a big deal. Question, what the heck is an inch? I wish I could tell you, to be honest. I wish I could tell you how they came up with it. why they insist on using it. I do know that imperial system is supposedly more human size versus like the metric system is really good for distances, but imperial system is good for like when you're measuring a human like 5'6", to some people, I guess it may be more intuitive than saying like 170 centimeters. Anyways, so we don't need this set of instructions here. We're gonna pull out this one. I guess inches are better for goblins. I mean, if goblins are humans, then sure, because imperial is supposed to be based off of humans. Okay, so this is skirt C, D, E, and F. What is this? No, that's not our instruction. It said 16, 17. Okay, I'm gonna try to hold this up real close to the camera. And it's working. I just don't think you can see me that well, which I figured that I was gonna be blocking the camera a lot, so I put my little fugi in the corner. Oh, sorry. I think the paper is like hitting the mic. Because the fugi will tell you if I'm speaking or not, because you can't tell from my model. Ah, yeah. That's what I figured was gonna happen. Okay. So number 1 says, with right sides together, stitch center back seam of back and side front from lower edge within 2 inches of the notch. Back stitch at opening to reinforce seam. So I remember when we were looking at this initially, we were just like, what the frick is stitching the center back seam of back and side front? So what I figured out is when I was actually pulling these tissue papers apart and I was tracing them. You know what? Bye. I don't like showing how janky my model could be if I block the camera. Let's increase this. There we go. That's fine for now. Imperial measurements were based on human qualities compared to metric, where they are officially defined by scientific measurements. Okay, yeah. I'm glad I got that pretty much. To the shadow realm I go, but my voice is still haunting your guys' ears. Ooh. Okay, so back and side front is the name of 2 pieces that we cut out. This is back and side front. And then I'm pretty sure this other piece is just called front, right? So it's saying stitch together the back seam of back and side front. So we're gonna take back and side front, and then we're gonna stitch the center back seam. I think center back is referring to where it is. I think it'd just be better pull out the fabric and then like that's piece number 1. We don't need that right now. The jank of your model on the karaoke stream was pretty cute though. I'm so embarrassed. I wish it didn't do that. Honestly, I really don't mind. I just get worried that it's gonna be distracting, but if it's okay, I'll be here. It's charming. Okay. If you guys say so. Shoop. There we go. Alright. We're back to normal. Oh yeah, also, sorry that I was late to stream. I actually made food tonight. I had bought, it was called like shavings, meat shavings, I guess. But it's it was like thinly sliced pieces of meat, and the first thing I thought of was, oh my god, I'm gonna make gyudon because that's just really easy. And I made gyudon tonight with steamed broccoli, and it was great. I think I didn't eat enough because I'm still hungry. So I'll probably go eat more after this, but yeah. Reach. I need my water. Nice. No girl dinner tonight. I'm so proud of you. Guys, I have girl dinner too many times. It's so not good. So no eating ASMR stream then? No, but I might grab a little rice cracker to eat. Ow, okay. These needles are poking me. All right, so here is fabric. Introducing back and side. This is back and side, like this. So, let's see. Okay, we have a little notch up here. That'll help us determine where it is. Oh, okay. So, if we flip this around, so the pattern actually has to be backwards in order for this to fit. So as you can see, there's a little notch here. Oh, it's a little hard to see. There's a little notch here that I cut into the seam allowance. That matches up with this. So that tells me that this is backwards. Okay. And we know that we are going to be sewing on the right edge. So the... God damn it. So the plan is to sew on... The plan is to sew down this side of the fabric here. And we know that this is the right place to sew because if we look at the diagram, do you see how the little triangle is at the top of piece number 2? That means that we aligned it properly. So... putting piece number 2 off to the side. I can see the 2 little notches I made on the side, which is perfect. This piece of fabric is not connected on either side. These are 2, I'm just going to call them floating pieces, I guess. They're 2 floating pieces that are right sides together. And as a reminder, right sides together means that the nicer part of the fabric is touching the nicer part of the fabric on the other piece. And the reason for that is because when we sew it over on this right side, if we sew it all the way down, then when we open it up like a book, the pieces are going to be continuous. So the instructions are telling us, I'm going to look at this off screen. I'm looking at the diagram. So it wants us to start at the very bottom, back stitch at opening to reinforce seam. So I'll do that. And then we're gonna right sides together, stitch into lower edge within 2 inches of notch. Oh, okay. So 2 inches before this notch here. So 2 inches, probably about here. I'm going to stop stitching. Where's my little marking pen? I thankfully bought this marking pen that's not white. It's blue, which makes it stand out a little more. And this is something that should be coming off in the wash, so then I can mark it as much as it need be. All right. It's very, 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 very small, but that's the notch that I make. Yeah. I think if I just do it and I can show you the finished product, that would make sense. So we're going to flip this around. Yeah. Man, I pinned it on the wrong side. You know, maybe I could do this instead. What I meant by I pinned it on the wrong side, if I was to sew, so like the direction of where you put the fabric is really important, where you start sewing. Because if I start from up here and I start from this notch down here, all my fabric of the skirt is on the left-hand side, which means that it's not bunched up here by the machine. If I were to flip this over and I were to start from the bottom, then as I sew, all this extra fabric is going to be pulling on the right hand side and my stitch may not come out straight. And so if I wanted to fix that, I would have to flip it over. Here, I could flip it over and then I can start sewing. But now the issue is that all the pins that I put in the fabric are facing the bottom. And you never wanna stitch where you can't see the pins, because then you can accidentally poke yourself. So we're just gonna start from the top and then we're gonna make our way down here. Okay, so about 2 inches from the bottom. 5/8 seam allowance. What's really cool is that on this little metal piece here, so this is metal, but there's another metal part. Let's see if I can, hold on, I'm gonna turn off my machine. Oh, okay, there you go. Now you can see it. So this metal part here has measurements on either side. It tells you that if you want a specific amount of seam allowance, you're gonna align your fabric to this line. So if you didn't want any seam allowance, your fabric would be like right here, right on the edge of the feed dogs, which is what pulls the fabric through. But if I wanted a 5/8 seam allowance, then I move it to 5/8 and then I keep it here. So this distance between the edge and the needle is exactly what the seam allowance should be. Let's turn this back on. Okay, I'm gonna pull out the pin just a little bit so that I can put my fabric down, or put my needle down here. And then we're gonna backstitch, because I always backstitch. Backstitching, I think, is really important. Apparently, when you're making handmade stuff, you don't necessarily have to backstitch, but I do anyways. This is the best tool that I have bought for sewing. This is a tool specifically to snip threads. And the reason why this is a lot easier than using these kind of scissors, which is what I used before, is because it's just the fact that you have to thread your fingers through here, hold it, and then cut by moving it up and down. But this tool here is already in an open position, and all I have to do is grab the sides and then press down and it cuts. So especially if I'm doing a lot at once, it helps to have that like ease of use. Okay, and then I'm also gonna have my little tomato. This little tomato, you can actually like put it around your wrist, which I thought was really, really cute. Hold on. You can put it around your wrist like that. But I don't like that because I'm just gonna bump into everything, so I don't use that. Lots of tips and tricks to be obtained here. Yeah, hopefully it makes sense. It's so hard to describe everything that's happening like as it's happening, just because the screen right here is just so limited. But I'll try my best to explain what's going on verbally, so that way it makes some degree of sense. But also, just the more that we do these kind of projects, like, I think the more the lingo will start to make sense, and then the better I'll get at explaining it, and I think overall it'll just be a better process. Oh god. So I actually have... Because my, the cord... So if you look here, my sewing machine is wired. Maybe I could make this better by actually moving my camera. I don't know. Anyways, so it's wired, and the length of the wire is limited, and so the pedal that actually controls the machine, it can't be that far from the actual machine itself, which makes it very difficult to place on the desk, because I can't push the machine that far into my desk. Otherwise, I can't put my foot on the pedal and actually use it. So what I did instead, I pushed in my machine and then I put the pedal on a stool so that it's off the floor and then the cord doesn't drag as long. However, that also means that my knee right now is hitting the top of the desk and I don't have much movement. So I'm trying to figure out how to put my foot on the pedal. Okay, first thing, you want to put your needle into the fabric so that your fabric doesn't move when it starts moving. And then we begin. So I'm gonna go ahead and backstitch just once. And then my goal here is to try to keep the 5/8 of an inch for seam allowance. So I'm pulling out every little pin that I face, that I get to. And so because this fabric is so light, it's also really slippery. So as this fabric is going towards the machine, I'm trying to keep it even here. Because if I turn this off, and what's nice, I can turn this off at any second. It's not like it's not like an automated machine that has to turn back on again. If I keep the fabric from slipping off on this end, because as I sew, it's gonna want to lean towards one end, then it's gonna make sure that my stitches are really even. Okay, actually turning down the tension on my machine was a good idea. This the thread isn't pulling on the fabric as much, which means it's a lot more even. When you have a thinner fabric, it can be pulled on the feed dogs a little quicker, and so the stitches. Wait, no, actually, maybe that's not the reason why. Wow, we have our first stitch, yippee! I can quit my gacha games, I just don't want to. What happened with you and your gacha games? Alright. This is one very quiet sewing machine. I think it's doing I think my noise suppression is doing a very good job. You can't really hear it as I'm speaking, which is good. It's because of how noisy it is. Okay, yep. So we sewed all the way down here, and now this is all connected. Alright, so now we're gonna look at instruction number 2. So with right sides together, pin pocket 5 to front 1 and back inside front. Alright, this is where it becomes complicated. Matching the large dots, having raw edges even. Stitch 3/8 of an inch seam. Okay. Oh, I think that's it for me. I hope the project goes well. Thank you, Fo. Have a good rest of your day, evening, whatever time zone you're in. Alright, I have to take out my pins. God dang it. I kept a lot of pins in here to make sure that the fabric doesn't slide, but now what I have to do is take out all of them so that I can open it up. But the nice thing is that I had all these pins in to make sure that the fabric didn't slide as I was working with it. And now that I have it stitched on one end, it at least is secured, so I don't have to worry about it sliding as much. Also, I did it automatically, but I cut out the loose threads from this. After you finish pulling it out of the machine, it's gonna have It's gonna have these loose threads here, and you have to cut them off so that they don't end up sticking out of your clothing piece. And I did that. I did that automatically, but that's something that I didn't show. I also backstitch up here because whatever, I'd rather keep it secure. So the loose threads are actually here. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut these off. Shoop and shoop. Okay. So now I can open it up. Let me just make sure that there are no loose... Okay, good. No loose pins, because that would hurt my hand. Now I open it up. And look! Yippee! The seam is right here. Now we attach the two pieces together. Look how pretty that looks! Holy, it looks like a bouquet! Ooh, that's really nice. This is gonna be one ancient looking skirt. Hi Sonny, hi Vivi, how you doing tonight? We're getting our sewing on. Okay. So this is gonna be back and front side. Front. Back and front front? Oh yeah, okay. So orientation wise, this is center back seam, because this is technically the center back of the skirt. I believe this is where the zipper is gonna go. So I think that's why this is the back of the skirt. So these two pieces are called back and side. That's because this seam right here is back. This fabric over here is side. And so then now it's saying you're gonna sew front and back and side front. This side is front here. Oh, good luck. Okay. So this is the second piece. This is just called front. Is front symmetrical? I don't think it is. It's not symmetrical. Alright. So the edges that are going to have the dots are the edges that are going to be sewn. So we can just go ahead and take out all these pins. I wouldn't have taken so much time putting these pins into this fabric yesterday, and I knew I was going to take them all out. Ah! I spent an hour and a half trying to prep this fabric. And I could have been sleeping. Hi Sonny, hi Flames, how you doing tonight? We are actually trying to put together a skirt. Oh my god. Alright. Ta-da! Oops. Ooh, oh. Ooh, I left two pins in here. That's not good. Yeah, the dangerous thing right now is because the fabric is so thin, the pins just fall right out, and I could be surrounded by pins as we speak. So I have to be really careful when I step out. All right, so I have my front piece here. I flipped it so that the right sides of the fabric are facing together. The right side of my back and side fabric, and then the right side of my front fabric. The right side of one? One. This is one. Okay. Alright, so this is my... That sounds scary. It was yesterday when I found some pins sticking up out of the carpet, but it seems like when the pins fall, they fall with the needle side pointed down. I joke about this, but I'm very careful about it. I make sure to look around me before I take a step anywhere, because I definitely do not want to be stepping on any pins tonight. So we're gonna start with one side. Ba, 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 ba. In the world. Do I have a pin here? I do. My fabric was being folded in a weird way. Like, why is this happening? That's because there is a pin. You had enough stab wounds recently. Yeah, with my piercings, yeah. I don't want an unplanned piercing. That sounds terrible. I didn't say that. Alright. I'll take some of these pins from my extra fabric. So what's great is that they invented these. These are little snap clips, or not snap clips, they're just little clips like this, but they also have little measurements on them, which is really cool. So if you wanted a specific seam allowance, you can have this on the fabric and it'll tell you at what point you should be following, like as your fabric is coming down this way, because whatever you're pinning should always be perpendicular to the needle like this. So as the fabric is moving through in this direction, it has these little lines so you know how big your seam allowance needs to be. So those are really nifty. I think for this kind of fabric, it is really important to have these, so that way I don't risk stabbing myself with pins. And it's more temporary, which is nice, and it's definitely a lot less work. I don't have to pin the inside. Alright, so because we're installing the pockets right now, I don't need to pin the entire length. I only pinned this right here, because that's about the length of the pockets. And I have my 2 dots, one here and one here. Okay. So again, the dots help with placement, right? So we're gonna grab one of the pockets. Sewing is more dangerous than expected. I wouldn't necessarily say it's dangerous. I think some people are afraid of getting their fingers caught in here, but there are really no circumstances in which your fingers should be any closer than this. You are not putting your fingers close to here. Like, if I'm putting my fingers anywhere close to here, you're supposed to turn off your machine so that you don't accidentally sew your fingers, but it just is what it is. Okay, so the pocket... God damn it. Wait, no, I had the foresight for this. Ha! Because the pockets, it said to only trace them in one direction, but, you know, the pockets are going to be on either side here. So then won't one of them have to be like this, you know? Won't you have to, like, reverse it? And I do have to reverse it. And so I had the foresight to put the dots on the other side, which I'm glad that I did. Yeah, it doesn't matter which one I choose. Okay. Pins are hard to work with. Pins are hard to work with. It's not fun. Unless you're addicted to danger. I feel so alive when I'm sewing dangerously. That is a wild statement. It's pretty funny though. Alright. Now we're going to match the dots that are on. Ow! I didn't stab myself too hard on that one, but... Gosh dang it. unfortunately, maybe I should show less of my machine and more of actually like what I'm doing on here. To be honest, I don't know. I don't even know if it's gonna make a difference because it's gonna look crazy either way. Hi, Sonny. How's the skirt doing? Hi, Wilson. How you doing? Long time no see. Wait. I think. Sorry, if you've been to one of my streams recently and I forgot, I'm sorry. Skirt's going. We just started, but we're getting somewhere, which I'm happy about. So, because I have to flip this over in order to match up the dots here. Do you see how the little, oh, you don't see. The dart right here is gonna match up with the dart here. And so it helps with the alignment. Because I have to flip it over, I think I have to take out these pins. But what I'm gonna do instead is use these so that I'm not poking myself in any given moment. That aside. Okay, so we're gonna pin here. Here. I only have 4, so I have to use this wisely. I'm gonna pin here. And here. Alright, so there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see how many pins I have in here. Oh my god. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. I told you, I spent an hour and a half prepping this fabric yesterday. Ugh. I just didn't want it to slide. I didn't want it to be, I didn't want the 2 layers of fabric to be mismatched, but it turns out it's okay. It doesn't really move too much. All right. Now we're gonna that to that. And the dots are aligned, so I'm gonna go ahead and snap that there. Great. And then I'm gonna take the bottom one out, pull the fabric a little bit, make sure that it's flat. Take that other one, and then we're gonna put this one on the outside of the dot because I'm pretty sure we have to just sew in between here. So where's the dot on this end? I'm gonna go ahead and pin it up top. And then for good measure, I might actually pin this in one place. The limitation with these is that you can't get them on the inside. You can only get them on the outer edge of the fabric. So actually, I'm gonna point this away from me. That would be a better idea. There we go. So I have a singular pin here holding the pocket to the skirt, and then I went ahead and clipped it on either side of the dots so that when I sew, I can just sew in between the dots. So it's asking for a 3/8 of an inch, which is 1 centimeter seam. And I'm pretty sure this is not a basting stitch. A basting stitch would be a removable stitch, but I'm pretty sure they want me to just sew this down. So we're gonna do that. And then we're gonna have to do this twice. I'm gonna gather my entire skirt, put it on my desk, and then we're gonna start. Oop. We have to lower this just a tiny bit. I'm making sure, I'm lifting it up and I'm making sure that none of the rest of this fabric is underneath here, because you could absolutely stitch together parts of fabric that you don't want stitched together. So I'm holding this up here. You can see it's just this. It's just this, these 4 layers of fabric, right? Because I have the pocket on top and then the 2 layers for the skirt underneath. put that here. And then they want 3/8 of an inch, which is really, really narrow. Actually, now that I look at it. Really, the fabric is just along the edge of the foot pedal. The foot, not foot pedal, the foot. The wing foot. I'm gonna put my needle into the fabric and then we begin. I'm gonna back stitch just once. Okay. I think my notch is gonna be like right where the seam is. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but... Was I supposed to do another notch up there? Gosh. Okay, here we go. Whee! Okay. So... It's connected. I pulled the fabric off the machine. Now I have a thread cutter on the side here. That cuts it. Perfect. Now, I'm gonna cut off these little strands. There should be 4. Just kidding, 2. And then I can also cut it from the bottom. 1, 2. All right, there we go. The 4 pieces of fabric are now connected without any pins. I can actually remove the center pin, pull this out like this, and ta-da! Look! Look, the pocket's attached. Yippee! Oh, and one thing that's really interesting, I thought... I thought I messed up for a second, because I'm like, oh my god, wait a minute. The fabric, the right side is on the inside of the pocket. And I was just like, oh no, was it supposed to be facing the outside? But I didn't mess up, because the inside of the skirt is going to look like this. And let's say you wanted to flip the pocket inside out, you would want the pocket to look the same as the rest of your skirt. So I did a good job. I did a good job. Sewing is my favorite part of sewing. There's a surprising amount of not sewing in sewing. There is a tremendous amount of not sewing in sewing. It's so much prep work. It's so much aligning. It feels really good when you get it to work. But yeah, a lot of sewing is not sewing. All right. It's actually asking for an iron. So I'm going to go heat up my iron. I could just plug it in across the room. I understand, because game and video game is my favorite part. Yeah. And sometimes you have games that are really just a lot of video and you're just like, I want to play the game. But it tends to be that if you get video game, you're going to be playing a game. So there's a little more balance. Sewing, unfortunately, there's no way to cheat whatever it is you want to do. Unless you happen to get all the pieces already cut out and already marked. That would be the most difficult part. The seam towards pocket. Oh, okay. All right, so now we're gonna go to the other side. Oh no! There's a piece of the fabric that that wasn't sewn. Shoot. Oh, I see it. Shoot, that's not good. I might have to redo that entire stitch. Shoot. All right. I don't know if you guys can see it, but the stitch, the thread is right here, and the end of the fabric is right here. It just, there's not enough space. There's not enough extra fabric to make sure it's not gonna fray. I didn't align it properly, because then when I actually looked on this side, there's a hole. All right, where's my seam ripper? So this is another big part of sewing, taking out your stitches. I want to see if maybe I could salvage this, but it looks like I just have to align each piece by piece before I go ahead and sew it again. So we'll just take the time to just destroy these stitches. Hoping to see the skirt when it's done. Busy with work for the past 2 weeks. Oh gosh. I hope work's going okay. I'm excited to see the skirt come together too. I can't wait to actually like wear it. And then I could be like, haha, I made it. My least favorite part of sewing, unsewing, exactly. Sometimes, like, unfortunately, there's no avoiding it. You just have to do it. The worst part is when you sew a really long piece of fabric and then somewhere you mess up. Hopefully it's in an area that's quite separated from the others so that you like are not having to take out as much, but it can still suck. Hi Krisu, thanks for stopping by. Hello Sunny, hope you're having a happy and healthy day. I'm having a healthy day and I'm having a good time right now. So thank you for asking. Horror story, you sew a long area, then you notice your bobbin's out. So the bobbin is what provides the thread. Your two stitches are like, you have two threads, one that comes through the machine and one that's on the bottom. So this is called your bobbin here. And so that when your machine is actually like doing its thing, it pulls tight and it can't pull apart. So the joke is that when your machine is running, your fabric is over this part and you don't see your bobbin. And so sometimes your bobbin can be low on thread and you keep sewing and there's no more thread in there, but the top thread from your machine is still pulling. And so you have like, you think that there's still thread on the bottom, and then when you finish sewing, you flip your fabric onto the other side and you see there's no thread on the bottom, which means that yes, your machine was still pulling thread through the fabric, but it only pulled it through one side of it. So then you end up having to stitch the whole thing again because you don't have a seam. You only have thread coming in from one side, but it's not locking with another piece of thread, which means that you don't create this hold. So that is horror story. Because then you're just like, damn, I put in all that work and it felt like work too, because the needle was still going through the fabric, but it wasn't work, it was false, it was a fallacy. Alright, so now I know when I actually do the other pocket to be really careful with my placement. Oh, you know what? I did not finish any of the edges on this fabric either. I hope that's not going to be an issue, actually, now that I think about it. Finishing the fabric means running a stitch along the side of an unfinished edge. Unfinished just means that the threads can separate because there's nothing keeping the threads intact. And so when you run a stitch over the edge, that makes sure that it is intact. I guess what I could do is when this entire skirt is done, then go over the seams, the seam allowances to make sure that they're not going to come undone. Because it could also be that the second I throw this into the washing machine, it's going to come apart, which now that I think about it is an actual issue that I did not think about. Oof. Yikes. What if that would be too bulky though, but even still, this is just so thin. There is a type of solution that you can use that makes the edges, it essentially glues the edges so that none of the edges come undone. I have some of that. It's gonna take a lot to finish it. I'm not gonna take the time right now to finish these edges. It will be something that I do later on, so I guess I could make that decision later on. But technically, before you start any project, you would want to make sure that your edges are finished so that you don't have to do that later on. So that was my oversight. But we're going to align the pocket. I'm gonna put a pin in this, make sure it doesn't. All right, this is about as even as I can get it. Oops. This is as even as I can get it. The two pieces of fabric here are aligned as well as I could get it. So now we're gonna try putting these two pieces right on top. And then we're just gonna double check that everything is aligned before we start sewing. Great. I think I can see for sure that these are all lined up here, so we're gonna get that. And we're gonna go down this way. I can see that there's a little bit of a difference here. And I can go ahead and move that down. Move that up. All right. Nope. It moved. Do you see the difference here? Damn, that's hard. So then maybe what I have to do is just try to pin it a little closer. So put one clip here, like that. The closer your pins are, the less likely your fabric is to move. I think this will work. I almost want to sew from the back side. That way I know that I get all the pieces of fabric, because this back side is the one that I'm worried about, that the fabric may not catch. But I think it'll be okay. I might just have to have a bigger seam allowance, which wouldn't be an issue. All right, let's try this again. And as I'm sewing, I can also check on the fabric to make sure that it's aligned. Something's wrong. The fabric wasn't moving. Is it because it's stuck? That's what it was stuck on the plastic here. All right, let's try that again. There we go. I'm being very, very careful with this. Alright, so now I'm gonna check the backside. And yep, all the fabric is included. All layers, I mean, are included. I am a little worried about the fraying. Ah! Oh no! Where's my dot? Oh, perfect. Okay, I was supposed to sew until here. If I sewed any further, then I would have sewed outside of the area that I needed to sew, which would have been bad. Okay, let's get rid of these loose threads. Yeah, so the threads could be the thread that you actually push through the fabric, so the one that's through your machine, or the threads on the actual fabric itself. Okay, so if we look here, my thread is white, so it's a little difficult to see, but I backstitched here, and then this stitch comes all the way down here. And if we look on the other side, the stitch... Oh, that is uneven. What the hell? Man, it looked really even when I was sewing it, but this stuff gets real slippery. That's a little better. As you can see, the alignment isn't entirely there. This is shorter than the rest here, but it's good enough. If we look on the back side, all of it is there. That's good. I may end up using that liquid and just making sure that these edges don't come undone. There will be a point, I think, tonight where we can't do any more sewing. And so then maybe I can actually finish the edges. Or if we don't even get there, then I'll just finish the edges sometime on my own. All right. Here is our pocket. All right, so now we're gonna do the other side. So if I actually sew these two pieces together, this is front. This is back and side front. So if I sew these together, then they're gonna be a big hoop. Which is what we want in the end, of course, because a skirt is a big hoop. Is this longer? Oh, it is. I guess I cut it unevenly. Alright, so if I look at this side here, these are my two dots. This is where I'm gonna align the pocket. Right here. Oh, thank goodness I put less pins in it. here is my dart. My dart is gonna match up with the one that's here. I'm really trying to loosen up the fabric here so that it lays flat and it's not bunched up in any other place. I'm trying to smooth it down over here. Okay. Place that right on top of the other. I'm gonna bring it closer to me because I can't see it when it's that far. The fabric keeps sliding because the rest of the skirt is in this direction and it's right off the edge of the desk. So the entire thing just wants to run off the edge. So I'm gonna chuck it on the desk. Okay. I'm gonna first and foremost pin this here. That's aligned. Shift this up. This is all pretty much aligned, I think. As long as I sew not too close to the edge, it should all be captured in the seam allowance. So we'll try it. There. Okay, needle down into the fabric. And we sew. With a small back stitch. I'll pull out this pin. Because it's just gonna get in the way. I don't want to sew over it because there's a risk that I could break the needle. Aligned. Okay, it's aligned. This shit's scary, man. I don't know if the fabric underneath was captured. Let's see. Yippee! You see? All the fabric was captured. The only part that would be of concern would be this, because of how little space there is between the edge of the fabric here and the seam. But I think it's okay. Anything closer than that would be a little worry. Okay, now that that is sewn, I'm gonna go ahead and take out these pins because I don't want to... Oh my god, I didn't have pins for the longest time and I didn't know why. And when I pulled out this project, I realized this project was where all my pins went. I didn't have to buy a second box because it was just all in this project. Yay! Yippee! Okay, so I'm gonna take that out. And now we should be able to open this up and none of the fabric is gonna come undone. And now we have a giant hoop. An uncompleted hoop, but a giant hoop nonetheless. Okay, so here is pocket number 1. Ooh, that's pretty close. If you look, the edges are not too far apart. And then this is pocket number 2. Edges are not too... Oh, ooh. Whoa. This one's way higher. You can see the difference there. Eesh. That's not good. Well, honestly, I try my best. All right, so let's look at the instructions. So now it says press seam toward pocket, pressing pocket out. So it wants us to do what's in this image here. Oh, that little grinning face is so cute. So the seam allowance right now, let's see in what direction the seam allowance is at. So if I were to flip this side, so this is the seam allowance. Do you see how the seam allowance is just sticking straight up this way? Well, the pattern is asking that we iron it flat like this. And I think that's just to reduce the amount of bulk there is in the seams. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna step away. My iron is all warmed up. I'm gonna take out these little pieces. I don't need those anymore. Eggy, I'm back. So, shoot, just hit my knee against my desk. So you guys can see now the power of an iron. Hold on. Bring that back. Wait, hold on. I can do this. Okay, nice. My camera isn't shifting focus if I hit my table on accident. That's good. Okay, so what I did is I pressed the seams towards the pocket. And that just means when the seams were originally up, because that's just the way they are when you first sew the seam. Now I pressed it towards the pocket. So it's really flat here and it's bulky along this edge. And I think that comes into play later on when we actually start assembling the skirt. I also ironed out the pocket. So it probably looked like this before because I didn't iron out the pieces since they were in my closet all folded up. I just didn't care to iron them out. I knew that they were aligned properly, but didn't want to take the time to do that. So now I did now. And now it looks a lot better. Now it looks flat as it should be. All right. Number 4. Pin front to back at side front seams, matching large dots. Stitch side front seams, leaving an opening between the large dots. Stitch pocket edges together from... Oh, frick, I didn't get any of that. Hold on. Pin front to back at side front seams. Okay, that makes sense. So pieces 1 and 2 are here. I don't know which one's on top. It may be 1 or it may be 2. Like what's showing. Like 2 or 1, maybe that little edge right there. But this is either 1 or 2. And this will be the seam right here between 1 and 2. So far, we've only done this small stitch here to attach the pocket. Now what they're asking us to do is to do another stitch now, a wider stitch, starting from the pocket down and then the pocket up. So the reason why we leave this gap is that you can actually stick your hand in the pocket. If you sew this shut, then you don't have a pocket because it's just a flap of fabric attached to your skirt. But this makes it so that you can actually stick your hand in it. So now, because again, we only sewed 1 and 2 together using the pocket width right here. Now we're gonna sew the rest of the skirt. And we're gonna use the proper 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. So I'm pretty sure the darts are right here. So we're gonna line this edge here and then we're gonna sew this. So this right here, we're gonna skip all the way into the other dot down here. And then we're gonna sew all the way down the skirt. So it actually wants us to do this. The side where we have the seam allowance here. So they want us to stitch this flat. Oh, and then they also are gonna want us to stitch the pocket. Good luck, Sonny. I'm heading to bed now. Good night, Miss Fizz. I hope you got to chill out a little bit before you go to bed. Sleep well. Sweet dreams. I almost said sleep dreams. Sweet dreams. So I'm gonna pin this so that it stays aligned. Your pins always want to be perpendicular to where you're sewing. Okay. This is not intuitive. We don't want this bulk to be on this side because then the fabric gets bunched up here. We want it to be on that side, but unfortunately, I don't know if that's just the directionality of the fabric. Maybe it just has to be that way, or if it's that I didn't align it properly. Could be either one. Oh, how am I gonna do this? pocket sticking out here. Oh. Oops. I was supposed to sew this all the way to the edge. Got it. Okay. I was just like, how am I supposed to sew this if it's not connecting? Sweet dreams to y'all too. Thank you, Miss Fizz, says chat. Alright, so we're gonna do that right now. We're gonna sew from the very top all the way down to where we did our our back stitch. This is an easy fix. Okay. Great. Let's take out. No, we don't need it. Okay. Let's grab my little scissors. I'm just cutting off the loose edges. Maybe I could actually press this a little bit, but I really don't think I need to. Yeah, no, I don't need to. What I meant is that by this new seam that I made here, it's sticking straight out rather than off to the side because I didn't press it. But I can use the warmth of my hands and essentially do the same thing. It won't be exact. Look at this. There is no, like, it's aligned perfectly. Look at that. That's a crazy laugh. All right. It wants us to do the full 5/8 of an inch. Oh, I can see it. Nice. Okay, so the seam allowance here is 3/8 of an inch. So then if I align, oops. The seam allowance is 3/8. So then if I align this seam allowance with the 5/8 mark, then I have a 5/8 seam allowance. Right? Right? Yes. Yes, that should be correct. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna lose it for a little bit. Pull out these pins. I was only supposed to sew to the dot. Now I'm sewing the pocket shut. Well, here's the good thing about what I just did. Is that I can always trim, I can always shorten this, and I'll just double stitch at where I messed up. Or I'll just back stitch at where I messed up. Because I already made the line, now I just have to secure it. And since I went over it, I just undo whatever I went over, and then that's it. Here we go. Just a little bit more. I almost sewed the entire pocket shut. Oh my god. Alright, that's all we needed to take out. Now we'll just sew right on top of that. I might do it a couple times just to make sure that whatever loose threads that I had are captured somewhere in that back stitch. That's my secret technique. Ta-da! It missed it completely. I backstitched like 3 times and it missed the thread. It missed the loose thread here. You know what? We're just gonna sew that again. We're just gonna sew the whole thing again. Just with maybe 1 or 2 back stitches. That way it for sure won't come out. There. One, 2, 3, and 4. Here we go. Loose threads are all accounted for. This is now sewn together. Now we're going to finish. Actually, we're going to start where this dot is, and then we're going to move down. Well, okay. I made the mistake of not sewing this shut, so we're gonna do that first. Originally, so when I was installing the pocket, I thought I had to stop where the dots were, right here, which means that this edge was left free and this edge was left free, but it actually needs to be sewn all the way shut, so we're gonna do that right now. Okay, 1, 2. Three, 4. Yep, did that do it? Yep, it did it. Okay. And we're gonna start sewing at the dot here, and then we're gonna go all the way down. But I need to make sure that my fabric is aligned, so I'm gonna set this on my lap, and I'm gonna align the fabric and put the little clips on it. Make sure that it is... Actually, I could do this here. The little clips down so that I know that it is aligned properly. And I have a little more leeway with the seam allowance, so I don't have to worry as much. If the fabric isn't aligned edge by edge, then it is okay if one is slightly, like, this is what I mean. This is an issue. This, if the fabric is not aligned here and I sew along this edge, there's going to be this much sticking out of that side. So I want to move it so that the edges are aligned. That is good. That's really good. Hopefully if I sew it like that, then the skirt will be even. Oi. Oi. I guess as long as it's aligned at the top, it's okay. But the reason why I made that sound is because one edge of the fabric is longer than the other. You see this? So what that is going to mean when I actually put the skirt together, I don't know. I really don't know. Unfortunately, one is just shorter than the other, so I have to work with it. Oh, I see. So this is why it's important to always shake out your fabric. The reason why it's shorter is because of the way I pinned it. So there's actually some give here, and that should make it so that my fabric is aligned. So it may actually be better if I start at the bottom. So I start by holding this in place. And then I make my way up. To make sure that there's no, like, fabric gathering where it shouldn't be. I should be able to pull it straight, and there isn't any give here. So it looks like the problem is up here when I was sewing the pocket in. It has this hole here, but it should be okay as long as these edges here are even. Y'all, it's really hard. It's really hard to get your edges nice and clean. The fabric always wants to move, and then you're stuck. So what I'll do to get rid of this little gap here, I'll move it aside here, and then I'll pin it. So that when I make the initial stitch, it'll like keep that in place. It won't move. All right, so our dot is right here. We start at the dot and then we go all the way down to the edge of the skirt. We want 5/8 of a seam allowance. So I have the fabric edge right along the 5/8 of a mark there. Haha. There we go. I sewed over that little bump in the fabric. Yeah. That moved. Ah. Oops. Accidentally hit my pedal too hard. Yeah. Hi, Various. I know, right? Yeah. Alright, almost done. Yippee! Ta-da! Seam is all the way done. And you see this little pucker right here? That's how I was able to make the fabric even by making it pucker in this little area, which is fine. Not gonna do much. Now we're gonna repeat this process on the other side. We have to stitch the pocket all the way down, which I did not do, and then we can actually get the seam all the way up the skirt. I'm half asleep and thought I heard you say something else. How can this be misconstrued? The seam. The C. Pucker. Pucker? Now I'm just finding words that rhyme. Pucker. Yep, this little guy right here. Just there, but that's fine. Hey, do you want to see how the pocket works? Look, if I open up the skirt from the outside, look. Eh? Eh? What? Eh. Why can't I stick my hand in it? What did I do wrong? I know what I did wrong. It's because I was only supposed to stitch it to one side of the fabric first. Oh man. When I originally stitched the pocket in, I stitched it with 1 and 2. I was only supposed to stitch it onto 1 and then apply it to 2. Guys, we're taking this apart. Because I should be able to open it through here and then stick my hand in it. But I can't do that. And why can't I do that? It's because I closed it shut on both sides. This is actually not good because this fabric is so thin that it compromises the material. This seam allowance may not work anymore after this. I might have to go deeper into the fabric because as I pull out this, the integrity is not going to be there. So if I sew right over it, it may not keep... It may not hold the stitch, but... Hi, VM. LOL, you live and learn type of moment. Yeah, exactly. Aww. Aww. Let me just make sure. Let me read the instructions and make sure. Right before I take this out, there should be an opening here to put my hand in. It is completely shut, which means that I sewed it in one or more places that I shouldn't have. So what that means is maybe I could just... I'm gonna start undoing this inner seam. And then I could probably, because it just has to be stitched to one side, I could probably get away with stitching it without taking the whole thing apart. Because that would be the worst thing if I were to take it all apart entirely. I don't think I have to do that right now. Gosh, even when you are following the instructions. Well, I thought I was following the instructions, actually. I thought I was skipping a step by sewing the pocket onto 1 and 2. But what I didn't know is that in order to have that gap, it can only be sewed onto one side. And then the other. Oh man. This fabric might hold. It might hold for another round of stitches. It might. It looks like there's still integrity where the stitches I'm pulling out are, so I think it might be able to hold. The good thing is I tried sticking my hand through the pocket before I actually sewed the other one. Because the other one now is just a singular line, so it's not as bad, thankfully. Why is this still shut? Whoa, 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 whoa! I accidentally pulled out some of the, I accidentally pulled out some of the loose threads, which further decrease the amount of seam allowance we have. Woohoo! That's bad. Man, I totally did not think about finishing these edges. Not good foresight on my end. Okay, all those seams are out. I tug at these ones down here. Man, after all that time I spent to aligning 4 layers of fabric, turns out all I needed was to align 3 layers of fabric. Wait, it's actually 6, maybe. My technique for tearing the seam is to go like once every 5 stitches, because then it's not strong enough to hold, and then I can pull it apart. Albeit with a little bit of force. If I wanted to make it easier, I could cut a stitch every like 3. But I'm a little too impatient for that. And I can always try pulling apart the fabric. So like what I mean is I can always pull it apart like this. Oh, there we go, yeah. And then the seams come undone. Go. I think this will hold very nicely. I think we'll be okay. It's always good to check if it looks right as you go. Yeah. It's very true. That's what I've learned throughout sewing. You never want to not check on your work, because you don't want to figure out that you did something wrong 2 steps later. Even 1 step later is a lot, you know? But we will have pockets tonight. At least a pocket. That's our goal. 1 pocket. Give us 1 pocket. Wait, here we go. Almost there. Ba, 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 ba. There we go. All right. Ooh, that looks really bad. All right, so this is 1. I have to take it all out. I have to take out this one here, and I have to take out this one here, because they should only be attached to one of these. All right. This one's not gonna look pretty. I backstitched so many times on here. Oy. I think the last time I worked on, when I did like the mock-up for this skirt a while ago, that was the project that I did in the sewing class. I had told myself to not backstitch more than one time because then it's a pain if you want to take it out. And I was just so confident this time around that I wouldn't need to take it out. I'm like, I'll just backstitch 3 or 4 times. It's fine. And here I am trying to take it all out. This is also another technique. You go down the 2 fabrics. But actually, I don't want to do that because there's just so much backstitching. I don't know what's the actual thread. Oops. I don't know what's actual thread, and I don't know what's the thread of the fabric, and I don't want to accidentally unravel it. Whoa. Can you see how delicate of a work breaking seams is? There's just so many little pieces. There. Oops, sorry. I think I just hit my mic. Almost. Always feels like I'm here for days. I don't have the patience for this, man. Is that it? Yay! I did it! Finally! It's done. Alright. You gotta do the other side now. Oh, I think I can get away with this one. Yeah, I think I can. We can do it. No, we're gonna want to keep. Alright, now I have to figure out which one's front and which one is side front. That was easier than I expected. Alright, I'm sewing it to front, which is this. Side front is over here, loose. I just have to attach it to front here. There should only be 3 layers of fabric. So 1, 2, and then 3. I'm gonna pin it up top. And then I need a pin it on the side. Down here. Okay. And I think I just need to sew almost exactly where I sewed before. What the hell? What happened? 3 layers of fabric, 2 streams per week, and 1 sani. That, my friend, is math. Often after pinning, I'll carefully flip it to check that the pins make the seam I want them to. Yeah. Yeah. Always make sure to double check the alignment. What helps is that the seam, there's like a phantom seam already there. So I just have to follow that as well, if my fabric is aligned properly, which it should be. All right, let's do it. We sew from the top and then we go all the way down. This is the 3/8 seam allowance. Woo! I forgot that I was holding back. Oops. I held the reverse stitch. Oops. Just checking to make sure all the fabric is aligned. That stitch was okay. Nope, 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 nope. Yep, I see you. There we go. One got caught, so it started coming above. Started like, oops. It started flipping up here, and I would have stitched it like in that upward position, which would have been really bad. All right. Here comes the part where the fabric is compromised, which is no good. Let's stitch it all the way to the edge here and pray for the best. Ha! Yes! Yes, 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 yes! I got it. I got it. Alright, I was able to stitch the pocket all the way down here, which is where it first, when the pocket ends and then the rest of the skirt is. So now I just have to replicate that second stitch on the top, and then I think we have a pocket. I think we have a pocket. Also, what time is it? It's 9:30. Oh my god! It took us that long just to sew a singular pocket. Holy cow. Oh no. I have to wash dishes. Oh my god. 9:30. I was like, oh, it's feeling a little bit late. I didn't think it was gonna be that bad. Okay. Now we just do the 5/8. This way. Let me make sure this is gonna work. Hi, Kurisu! How are you? Because guys, the worst thing is, what if I didn't do it right anyways? I've been web fishing for a few hours by now, and it's 12:35 a.m. Nice. Right? Hold on. I know I did it right because I sewed the pocket to 1. This is 1. Here's 1. This is the right side. Oh. Wait a minute. Oh, no. I didn't even think to check that orientation. I have to take it out. When I sew the pocket has to be on the right side of the fabric like this. I sewed it on the wrong side of the fabric like this. You can do it. You can. Usually for pockets, you'd sew the pocket piece 1 to side 1, and then pocket piece 2 to side 2, and then sew sides pocket pieces together. Oh, what? Wait, that makes sense. So I don't sew the 2 of these together? Yeah, because that would make sense, because I would just sew it shut. It's just 1 at a time. I'm good. HoloCure is taking over my life. I'm trying not to grind for everything. Oh, good luck. I haven't seen too much HoloCure gameplay, despite someone very special playing a lot of it. But is it gacha? That would make sense though. I would have one piece of the pocket over here, and then I sew the other piece, and then I bring it together, and then I sew it. Let me read the instructions one more time. Pockets are rough to wrap your head around, but once you get it, it becomes easier. I believe it. I believe it. So if I'm understanding this right, I do 4 different stitches because I sew each pocket piece individually. So 1 to piece number 1, 1 to piece number 2, 1 to the other side of piece number 1, like. So if we have the 2 edges, so we're gonna have, yes. Oh man, I'm getting tired. I can't do this kind of thinking late at night. Late at night, ha ha ha. It's only 9:30. Yeah, I think I can imagine it in my head. All right, let's quickly take this out. 9:40. Am I gonna be able to wash my dishes at this rate? Probably not. Yes, I can. I just can't get distracted. Which I will try not to do. Because at least once I take this pocket out, then I don't have to think. I won't have to think about it next time. Hi, Sonny. Hope you're doing okay today. Hello, Curation. How are you doing? I have undone many mistakes tonight already. But the good thing is that it's the same on the other side. And so I just have to not repeat the same mistakes. I am so sleepy. Yeah. That should be me too, but I think I'm just really activated by messing this up. Then I'm like, man, I can't go to sleep anymore. I have to fix this. And it's just like, dude, just put down the pocket. Finish it next time. Go wash your dishes. And I'm like, no. My one-track mind. I have to fix this right now. Yoda says there's no try. Only do wash your dishes. You are so right, Vane. You are so right. Only do wash your dishes. Nice thing is I'm almost done. It often seems like it takes a while for me to get into the rhythm of ripping seams again, but once I've ripped enough seams, it's clockwork. This time, actually, I'm taking out one every 3 so that the thread just comes a lot easier out of the fabric. I don't have to spend as much time trying to figure out how to make it come undone. I'll just pull it at every 3. Man, that sucks. So I have to sew each piece of the pocket to its individual side and then I sew it together. Which makes sense if I think about assembling it. Because it wouldn't make sense to just sew both pieces onto one side, because then you're sewing the pocket shut to begin with. So you'd have to sew each piece on individually. Maybe this is a blessing in disguise, because maybe I shouldn't... I was considering actually just attaching the 2 pieces on tonight, but I think I need to finish these edges before anything else, because I don't want it to fray. So then I'll probably take the time to just finish all the edges of this skirt before I come back next time. Getting off the train soon. 07. Good night, Various! I still can't believe you get home this late. That's crazy. Two hours really flew by tonight. Guess that's just I haven't sat down to craft in a while, like to truly assemble something. I mean, I did my foam like armor pieces, but I did that all at once. So maybe I just, now that I'm making something again, you just get so caught up in it that you don't really think about time. Yeah, it'd actually be a really good idea to finish these edges. So I'll just take this pocket off entirely. And then I'll take the time to do the other one off stream. Maybe I can make this my Saturday morning project. Because I know if I don't do it this weekend, I probably won't get it done before next week. And I want to be able to resume this next week. I also feel like after making this mistake, I'll never mess up a pocket again. I think the wiser thing to have done was to look up how to do a pocket, a video on how to do a pocket, so I could avoid making this error. Or maybe even just like a short tutorial on how to make a skirt, so that way I have like an idea in my head of what it's supposed to look like, but... Well, c'est la vie. Will pocket be absolutely detached? We'll find out in just a second. Yippee! Pocket has been almost released. I'm gonna go sprint, wash my dishes, and then hop into bed. I cannot, unfortunately, afford to be fatigued at work tomorrow. Yeah, the fabric integrity is there. It's not doing bad. Right. The nice thing is we still have the seam from when we sewed the rest of the skirt down. So what I could do to make sure it doesn't come undone is just backstitch over it. Because we're gonna keep it. Maybe not. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Honey's so responsible. Unlike me, who will be half dead tomorrow. I really want to be irresponsible and I really want to be able to get away with it. But I am just so miserable when I'm tired. Every time I wake up tired, I'm like, why the freak did I let myself stay up that late last night? Every time, without fail. I hate the feeling of being super tired, especially if I have to work hard. So that's why I prioritize sleep so much. It would be so much more fun if I just stayed up and I streamed for longer, you know, if I streamed until like 10 o'clock every time. But I know I can't do that for the sake of my brain. All right, guys, pocket has been detached. We will be trying this again next time. We will sew one pocket to number 1, and then we will sew one pocket to number 2. And then we will make it happen. I also have to try to undo this. I'm also gonna try to finish all of these edges. Do you see how much fraying there is from just touching these edges? The more it frays, the more likely the fabric is going to undo itself until it gets to the seam. And then once it gets to the seam and it comes undone, there's no saving the fabric. That's why finishing your edges are very important, and so I'm gonna be doing that. But you gotta do what makes you happier overall. Yep. Not regretting sleeping late the night before makes me happier. So I'm gonna do that. All right, are we at 10? Are we actually? 9:50. Okay. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Just coming to hang out. I want to try and explain as much as possible, but sometimes it's just better to do it. So I think next time I'll try to focus on just assembling it and then maybe narrating what I'm doing rather than taking a lot of time to try to explain what's going on and then doing it. Yeah, just experimenting with different ways that works. Overall, I'm still yapping. Otsusoni, thank you, curation. All right, good night, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Good night.